Okay, it's market day, and that usually means that the evangelists are out in force. And I think I can see Pastor Steve in the distance. He's great fun to listen to. He's not really one to debate with. I suppose I'll have to do that eventually. I just like listening to him because he's funny and really, like with most of the people I speak to, all they have to do is talk, and pretty much they hang themselves to their own doctrine, as I like to say. But yeah, I'm a bit concerned about one of his evangelist friends who I usually see. I spoke to this guy a couple of times and uploaded those secret recordings. This is the guy who Christian all his life, and then apparently God allowed him to get cancer and also allowed him to die on the operating table, only to come back to life again hours later. And he uses that as an evangelizing technique. Well, a couple of weeks ago, I was crossing the road and I saw him across the street get bumped by a car that was turning a corner. And me and some others went over to him, and I think he'd broken his ankle, something like that, and he was in great pain. We stayed with him until the ambulance came, and I haven't seen him around, and he's not here today, but the rest of his crew are, so yeah, I want to ask about him and see if he's okay. Hey, how is your friend, the one who, the tall guy, he hurt his leg, didn't he?
Yeah, I know.
I saw it happen.
You saw it happen?
I was with him, yeah. Well, I mean, I stayed with him until the ambulance came. Well, not just me, maybe 2 or 3 of
My
us.
daughter was there.
Yeah.
And my son.
Yeah.
He's recovering, praise God.
Oh.
Now with the family. But yeah, had to have the operation because, in the past he had so many treatments, so the bones are not very strong. But he's okay.
Oh, there's my atheist friend.
So the accident.
He did it.
No, I actually saw
You
it.
knocked him over. We've been looking for you. I got him.
No,
Right, duff him up, mate.
Oh, was that you?
Bam.
Did you see me?
I stood with you until
stood?
the ambulance.
Yes.
I was crossing the road as I heard the thump.
Well, you know
So you
what?
saw
He
it?
nearly died. He then contracted pneumonia, was on a ventilator for 72 hours, and listen to this. I call him my atheist friend, but he's not. He's going to be a believer one day. Listen, do you know what happened? We were in Argentina and we called him back from the dead. He was gone.
What, again?
Yes, they called us
so
up
bad.
and they said you better get ready to come back.
In the intensive
He was in a coma, couldn't talk, he lost all his weight, couldn't breathe.
Yeah.
He just broke his ankle.
Oh yeah, but not.
he's got,
Yeah, but listen,
really low immune system.
he doesn't do things halfway. He does things all the way. Because his immunity system's so weakened and his bones, he contracted a pneumonia immediately. They couldn't operate. Then it went. That's how my dad died. My dad fell over, broke his hip, got pneumonia, and died. People who've got very weak immune systems, it's classic in hospital. But anyway, he's okay now. We got the leg
Are
done.
you saying he died and came back from the dead twice? This is the second time.
Well, the first time we know it was verified by medical experts. The first time it was verified by medical experts, yes, he was dead, and he came back. This time, I would say, figuratively speaking, he was as good as. But he hadn't been verified by a doctor.
Why would God do this to him?
Well, I tell you what.
Prove a point, maybe.
I'm going to tell you why. You want to know the God's honest truth?
Yeah.
Because he's my accountant and I can't do the accounts.
Oh, right. Okay. You need him to be alive.
Seriously, I tell everybody, I say, listen, I prayed to the Lord and said, Lord, I cannot do the accounts. You've got to make, this man's got, obviously more than that, obviously. Yeah. I said, you've got to keep him alive, I've got enough on my plate, But actually, he's very, very fortunate.
Yeah. I was a bit worried about him because he was like,
It was bad. Did you see it? They opened up and it was like...
Hey, listen, before I forget, get a picture of this. Do you know I pray for you? You know
sure you do.
Come here, I want to put my atheist mate.
Wait,
so this is for before and after, isn't it? Because you're expecting the after to be like, this is my Christian.
No, I'm not going to put. No, I just say, look, listen. You know what?
Been there, done that.
People follow me all around the world, and I just say I like people to know that I'm out and about.
nice.
Don't worry, mate. I'm not going to put this. Is
well, I mean, as you're on telly, you are on telly occasionally, aren't you? So it's. I thought you were.
Not in this country. I mean, overseas I am. Well, right now we're on national television all through Argentina. We are. I mean, isn't that amazing? I mean, we've got people sending photographs to Sebastian saying we've just seen Pastor Stevie's on telly again. and that's going all over Argentina. So that's a pretty big audience. But I mean, you couldn't pay for that sort of PR, and I haven't paid a penny. But that's just the filming that they've done, and they put it out there, and it's tremendous because. Have you ever been to South America?
No.
Yeah, but there's something about the Latin culture. I mean, we are Latin, so we love the Latin culture. The people are much more open, Still atheists there, but overall, the consciousness of the culture is that they need God because they're poor. They don't have things. I think some of the materialism that we have in our lives can actually be hindrances to connecting with spirituality.
I did see a report not that long ago that the poorer countries are the ones that seem to embrace religion more because they don't have much hope.
Call it faith, not religion. Call it faith.
Call it faith. Yeah.
Call it faith. And think about that. Why? Because if there is a God, obviously he's my good friend. If there is a God, then obviously your spirit is the part that's the most important part of you. The physical part is our body. Yeah. Our soul is our mind, will, and emotions. But if our spirit is eternal and there is an afterlife, and we either go there to heaven or hell down there with old Slewfoot, with he can roar, but he ain't got any teeth because the Lord took his teeth out. Then it makes sense that if we are spirit beings, we would want to connect with a...
Yeah, but there's no way of knowing.
Well,
there is no way of knowing.
I know, she knows, and one day you're going to know.
You decided you know. That's different from knowing. That's different from knowing.
I love him, mate. We have these little discussions. I'm
not saying I'm right, and saying I've not yet been convinced.
And I wouldn't. We're more than just, how's it going now? We're friends, and I respect you, and I love you. And
God loves me.
Of course he does, and we would never ever.
But he's going to throw me in hell, which he prepared for me.
Well, no. Here's the thing. Now you see, I understand the atheist mindset.
I'm just going by the Bible. I didn't write it.
All I want to do is look at the doctrine of eternity and think, well, God has set eternity in your heart. So Ecclesiastes 3:11 says eternity is set in our hearts. There is always a choice. You see, the fact of the issue is whatever status we are now isn't necessarily the status we shall be then. So in the concept of eternity and time, Chronos is the chronological time. We talked about this before. Kairos is the realm of God. You're a smart guy. Omnipotence, omniscience, and omnipresent. If God is all-seeing, all-knowing, and all-wise, he also has appointed a time for everyone, atheist, agnostic, humanist, Buddhist, Baptist, Muslim, Jew, black, Greek, purple, brown, whatever, because he can see if that person's going to respond or not going to respond. But I would say that the only people who ultimately refuse the goodness of Christ are, like jihadi terrorists, people who've got, tremendous bitterness or hostility in their lives, whatever the reasons are, and just refusing the goodness of God. And so at the end of the day, we can't write anybody off. There's Dolores. Hello, my darling, how are you? So I know everybody out here.
Yes, you do.
Hello, darling, how are you? Lovely to see you.
Hello.
This is my friend.
Oh, yes.
We are discussing our favourite subject.
Okay.
Which is white teeth.
White teeth. No, he says he's
I'm
an
trying to get his white teeth.
He says he's an atheist, and I say, well, that's only temporary. You always told me he's an atheist, but you know what? He's a nice bloke. A lovely bloke.
I'm an atheist, but I'm a nice bloke. Yes.
You've been away.
Been away in Argentina.
Yes,
We've been in
I miss
Argentina.
you.
How are you doing, my dear? We're just telling my next door neighbour, who he saw recently get knocked over yet again. I told you the story of him. He was clinically dead with grade 7 cancer, and he came back to life again. So that's
you can understand I'm skeptical of that, and then God lets him be hit by a car.
Yeah.
And I actually see it happen.
And he sees it happening. He sees it.
I didn't gloat or anything like that. I was concerned
that he was going to die.
But
he nearly died. He nearly died again. I think there's a
Why
lot
would
of
God
things.
do
I think
that?
there's a lot of things we don't understand. But you see, the way I say it is this: we're not robots. See, people think, I hit a lamppost and I became like I am. We're not right. We have a choice. Free will choice is the greatest thing God's ever given us. Free will choice. He's not. Listen, I'll tell you now. No one is going to be kidnapped to heaven. No one. No one's going to be like, well, I didn't want to be here, but he pulled me here. No, nobody.
You have to go for your own free will.
No, it's going to be free will choice, and you're either going to say yes or no.
And what happens if you say no?
Well, you know where you go.
So why is it? How can it be free will?
Well, because
you've
it is-
basically got this gun to your head.
No, it's a free will choice right up until the end. It's a free will choice. See, if
But if you don't believe in hell, you're not choosing to go there.
Well, if you study the Bible, you will see that even the Lord says, he says to those there's two judgments, the great white throne and the believer's judgment. It says to those on the left hand, depart from me, you cursed ones, into everlasting fire prepared for the devil and his angels. I don't like talking about hell. I don't know about you. I find it it's a pretty awful subject, mate. And I don't treat it as a joke. I know people say, oh, well, I'll be with all my mates. I don't think so. The way I would describe it is eternal separation from all the good that could have been and all the good that God could have done because of the stubbornness and the hardness of free will. Dodgy. All I am saying to you and to everybody is it's a temporary condition.
What, hell is a temporary?
No, the condition of the heart until you're dead.
Yeah.
When you're dead,
You can't do anything
I
about
tell you
it
what, mate,
then.
I wouldn't be playing Russian roulette. I mean, why gamble? I mean, listen, I had an uncle. He was a gambler. Okay, he lost everything. Why gamble? Why gamble? I say no. Be sure. You know what I mean?
So you're talking about Pascal's wager. It's better to believe and go to heaven than not believe.
Well, I would say this. I would say, I'll tell you what. These kids nowadays, they're too much marijuana or coffee in the mornings. I don't know.
No, he doesn't want you happy.
Well, he's happy. The thing is, when they're like that, they're dangerous. I would say this. I would say even our conversation is not a coincidence. I would say that the eternal God, who has made a plan, who loves you, who loves Dolores. I mean, we only talk on the street. He's never been to my church.
No.
Never. He's never been either.
No.
I would say, I mean, and don't forget, I've been away for weeks in Argentina.
I know.
So
I went to an alpha course last week. It did my head in.
To what?
An alpha
Alpha
course.
course,
Oh,
yeah.
right,
They do
okay.
seven stages on trying to
I
find
got
God.
through 2 and I couldn't take any more.
I don't like them. I mean, because, you know, there are certain things that just, you know, I mean, it's like ping pong. You know, you bing, 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 bang, you're back and forwards, back and forwards, back and forwards. I would say the greatest key that I have discovered in my life to where I am now was humility and the ability to be able to get on my knees when I'm really messed up and confused and just get on my knees and say, Lord, you show me, because right now I don't know. And that's been, because if you're humble, you never crumble. Something good is going to happen. But if you haven't got that attitude or that stance, it's really difficult, because what you're saying effectively is, I know better. And I've figured out I don't know better.
But you do. You're saying to me, you know better that
Not-
Christianity is the way and that I'm wrong.
Not better than God. Not better than God.
I'm just saying there's no evidence for it.
I mean, God is ultimately your only hope. But as a friend,
Well, if you
all
accept
I can
this
do.
big problem that he's put into the world of sin and atonement and getting right with God and all that, if you accept that big old rigmarole is real, then you think, oh, I do have to get out of that. But only if you accept that.
Yeah, but it's not like that. It's not like algebra. It's
Oh, it
not,
is.
And it's not. No, it isn't. No, it isn't. I mean, you know, you're a person. I mean, I mean, the thing is, I was Catholic. You know what I mean? I was a Catholic, Doris. So for 20 years of my life, I went along with it because I love my parents. But deep down inside, I actually thought, well, I can't be done with all this, the bells, the smells, the incense. I mean, you're not a Catholic, are you?
Yeah, I know. I've
You
been
know.
to a convent
But you know,
school.
but you see, I'm up
I've
and
been
down.
to a
I'm up and
Catholic
down,
school.
and then it was like you had to go. And then my mother used to force me into that box with the black. I just like, I hate
Before your
I hate getting in that box with the priest. And then he'd always tell me off. And then I'd come out, and then my mum, who could Portuguese Catholics, you see, Armenian Portuguese, she'd come out and say, how do you feel, son? And I said, I feel stupid. And she'd say, well, you're the black sheep of the family, you're bad, and in the end, I chose to turn my back on religion because I hated it. I used to see that he dressed up with a black frock. I mean, they call him father, but he's dressed up like mother.
Yeah.
You know, and I couldn't relate to all the smells and the bells. I think, well, life's not like that. If that's God, I don't want it. And my mother was furious. She used to get so angry with me. Then, of course, I was a dancer in clubs, nightclubs in New Zealand. I was a dancer. I was out there dancing. And then one day I heard a street preacher in Auckland, New Zealand, preaching on the streets. You know,
Wasn't Ray Comfort, was it?
no, it wasn't Ray Comfort, but I know Ray Comfort.
I know you know him. Yeah, I was wondering if that was him.
This guy's preaching, and I was walking down the street, and I was like you know, like John Travolta. I had flares on. I was like, stand alive, stand alive. I was walking down the street, like, you know, and the next thing I hear this street preacher preaching, and I stopped with my mates, and they were like, you know, and as he said these words, he said, "Was there ever a time that the Saviour Jesus didn't love you?" I'll never forget it. Those words went into my heart. And I stopped for a second, and that was the moment. That was it. That was the moment. That was the moment. I walked away, and it just wouldn't leave me. It wouldn't leave me. Probably about 2-3 weeks later, I got on my knees and I said, "I'm done. I'm putting up the white flag. Come, because I've had enough." That was it.
You were just in the right place at the right time.
Yes.
I was in the right place, but it must have been the wrong time. I was in the right place, but it must have been the wrong time.
I think you should go back to that lifestyle.
That's right.
No, I do. But listen, I just changed that for the Lord. I'm still a singer. You didn't know that. No, I'm still a top singer. Still a top singer.
Oh, fantastic.
Listen, I even sing, like, you know, I sing some big ballads, you know, like the Van Morrison numbers. I use them all for the gospel. Have I told you lately that I love you?
Oh, very good.
Have I told you there's no one? No, I record.
Now do some James Brown.
James
Then I'll be
Brown.
impressed.
The famous one was.
What have I asked?
I feel good. Like I knew that I would.
That's not bad, actually.
I feel good. Like I knew that I would. I feel good.
We can do
Oh
it.
yeah. I got you. Yeah, I can do them all.
Oh, fantastic.
I do. I mean, you know that I do Billy Joel impersonations. And when I was in Los
We
Angeles.
got musical accompaniment.
When I was in, when I was in Los Angeles, I was in a supermarket, and this woman says, Billy Joel, Billy Joel. I said, no, not Billy Joel. I said, but gather round.
Yeah.
And I went, no changing. I mean, that's terrible. Right. And I sung the whole song, and then shared the gospel with them. But this is our answer.
You look a bit like him.
I know. It's our answer to Bob Dylan.
He sounds a bit like Bob Dylan.
Well, he's, you know, where the guitar's out of tune and the voice, but he's a good boy. He's a good boy. Listen, I've got to talk to some of the local punters anyway, Dolores, as always.
I might see you one time.
Listen, now look, I'll come down and I'll look at the front and I'll see what they're doing with oil and wait for the healing.
Okay, and that was Pastor Steve. Yet another great encounter. And we even got some James Brown off of him. That was fun. Yeah, he should be on stage. Well, he's an evangelist, so he is occasionally on stage. And that's what it's all about, isn't it? You can't really have much of a debate with him because he's all about the patter and the talk and the, blinding you with non-science, which he's very good at. But he knows he's not getting through to me. And that in itself is a win.